What's going on, guys? This is Dave with LoFiTrader. Listen, I know what you're here for. You're here for the watch list. So before we do it, we need to run through the indices to get a better understanding of where the playing field sits. And then we will go through the few stocks that I think are worth putting on your watch list. First up, we have the SPY, the S&P 500. Yes, sirree. We've talked about the S&P 500 quite often around this 410 area. This 410 area is very, very important. Why so? Well, because we've had it hit so many times on this 410, we need to know whether this is going to break to the upside or the downside in this bullish pennant. Well, I would like to say that this thing is going to go higher. Now, what is going to ruin my thought or my ideas is if we break down this 408, this 408, 409 area. This is our last higher low. If you guys see back here, higher low, higher low, higher low, and now higher low. So if we can hold this area of 409 and we can continue higher, breaking above that 417, 420 area, that would be a beautiful thing for the overall market. So that is your S&P 500 above a curling 200-day moving average, forming a beautiful base down here. I would love to see it break to the north side. Next up is QQQ. QQQ has been very, very strong, so when we have these minor pullback days into the 10-day moving average, it doesn't sweat at all. It's not hurting it. It's still above a 10, 20, and 30-day moving average, above a 200 curling moving average as well. So the QQQ, the overall tech indice, looks like it is doing very, very well for itself. Now the IWM, remember the financial sector is in the IWM, so it's been beaten down and beaten down again. Below a 200-day moving average, that 200-day moving average looks like it's starting to curl downwards. So we need to be really, really careful at these lows. 170, if it breaks 170, watch out below. We're at least coming down to test 162. So let's hope, and I say it respectfully, let's hope the IWM, the Russell 2000, can get a foothold and head back to the north side. Then, of course, we want to take a look at our NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is going to look like it's breaking out here. Do keep in mind it is breaking out here, but it is because of the tech. Tech is what's holding this market up, along with healthcare and a few other hot sectors that I won't mention. But the NASDAQ, if you weight it, if you use a weighted average like IBW or IWM, likes to use, then this is sitting still somewhere in the middle. But regardless, we are getting a small push above this breakout area, and it's coming back to retest. I do like those retests, so I'm very interested. Next up is the Dow Jones Industrial, above a curling 200-day moving average, running into an area of resistance. That resistance is a downtrending line, and it's holding true to it. So maybe it'll start forming a tighter pennant in this area before we break out even higher. Next up, we're going to take a look at old Uncle Tesla. So Uncle Tesla right here, I actually called this out during our live stream on Friday, that Tesla was going to run right into this resistance area. I drew out for you in the pre-market prep. We had a few people asking why. Why do you think it's going to fail? Like, it's breaking out, it's breaking new highs, it's breaking these highs. Well, the thing is with technical analysis, that doesn't tell me, any biases or anything. It just shows me right here is a price action area, 176.50. So when it came up to that 176.50, we seen it shaking up in here after you see that big wick and it starts to break down. That was confirmation. Okay, so we got a little piece of that. We tried to play it both sides. I put a little to the long here and then got out of it and put a little to the south side. So let's see if Tesla can hold this uptrend line. I actually took a small wager in this and exited it out because I didn't want to hold it over the weekend. But I'm definitely going to be looking at this thing first thing in the morning, because if it can hold this area out here and hold this trend line, that is a double pad up. I'm going to call it a double pad up right there. And I would love to see this thing push to the north side, helping bring the overall market up with it. All right. Next up is Netflix. I exited my position on Netflix. This thing formed that double pennant Okay, we have a downward trending line on the daily. It ran into its area of support and then started trending to the north side on the hourly. And after this breakout, we took this trade at 324 exactly. And we have held on to it right up until it came up into this area of resistance I drew out for you. Okay, so this is fun. This is why I love doing charting, because then you understand exactly what I'm talking about, right? So we exited the full position right here in the pre-market before market open. Simply put, we knew there was going to be a pullback here. So I exited the full position, and now if this wants to continue to hold, continue to head higher, that's fine. I extrapolated about $500 out of that. Next up is Microsoft, MSoft, still trading sideways up here at the tops. It's very interesting up here, and it's, you know, it's a beautiful thing, honestly. It's a beautiful thing to see Microsoft holding up here at these highs. So any pullback needs to break 305, and then we still have support down here at 295 for Microsoft. So looking very, very good in the overall market. Above a curling 200-day moving average, 10, 20, and 30. AMZN finally above that 200-day moving average. It's not curling just yet, but this is a great sign. Above 100, we don't have to call this a pooper scooper of a stock anymore. We can just see this thing above a 200-day moving average. I wouldn't mind a pullback and a retest of that 200-day moving average, and a retest of that 10-day moving average would be very nice. Next up is Meta, kind of looking like Microsoft with this this base forming up here. You know, it's not going too high, it's not going too low, it's just kind of holding sideways. I do like it here, holding an uptrend, but it's just kind of bouncing in the middle. So this is a great area for me to head to the north side. But remember, guys, these are not buy or sell recommendations. These are my thoughts, not yours. These are going to be my trades, not yours. So I like Meta here. I like looking at this for the bounce. I like it squatting down here. The only thing I don't like is it broke the 10-day, so it's not following any really good moving averages except for this 30-day moving average. You can see it's bounced off very, very well off the 30-day moving average twice so far. So if we want to wait to let this catch up so it can bounce one more time, or maybe come back and retest, either way, that looks like that would be a nice trade to watch out for. NVDA just trading sideways up here at 280, 270. NVIDIA has been a very, very strong leader, and now it trading sideways has good reason to. We can't see these things go straight up, or nobody's going to believe in them anymore. So this thing has traded and broke out a new key area of resistance. Now can we get above that $300 area, psychological area of resistance? That would be absolutely beautiful, but keep in mind, NVIDIA has earnings coming out on the 24th, so do keep that in mind. Next up is AAPL, delicious and nutritious, still holding all those gains, breaking above that downward trend line. Apple is doing very good. Very good, leading the market, and definitely holding the market up. So this is absolutely beautiful for Apple, and you love to see it. Let's not sleep on Google, guys. Google came out with a lot of awesome news about everything that it's going to be working on in the near future. I watched some of it. I just watched little clips on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. About all these different things. And, of course, the buzzword is still AI. AI. Okay? And we have some AI stock watch lists. We have all that. We can talk about that on Friday, but we do have a nice stock watch list. We have SOUND, just kind of basing out right now. We have BBAI also basing out, AI basing out underneath that. Well, it's not based out yet, but it's still just trying to fight that $20 support level, now acting as resistance. GFAI is trading sideways at its lows. BFRG just trading sideways, and CXAI also just trading sideways. So those are just a few of the AI stocks. You want to keep them on. Right now they're not very hot. They're just kind of in a lull. But if you believe in them, you want to keep them on your watch list. Now, this is what you waited for. This is the watch list, guys. This is the watch list that I want you to put on your watch list so you can keep an eye on it, okay? We have COST. I'm going to maximize this cell for you so you guys can see this a little better. Now, I have a lot of drawings on here. No, I'm not going to get rid of them. This helps me understand what I was thinking about in the past. Now, COST, this is its first area that I liked as a breakout. I didn't add anything into it. I wanted to see it push up higher, come back and retest. It did not. It came all the way back down and retested this upward trend line. If you guys notice, we have a huge pennant forming. Now, if I zoom out, you'll see it very, very clear as day. I want you to have this on your watch list. COST It is a wholesale corporation where they sell their food in wholesale. It's a big buzzword in my area, and it probably is in yours if you're anywhere near a bigger city. So this thing is breaching, or not breaching, but it's trying to breach this $504 area. I don't know if this is going to take off from here. We have earnings that are coming out on the 25th. So do keep that in mind for COST. On the 25th is earnings, and I think that it is going to help us understand. Now, I'll give you an idea. If COST comes out with earnings and it gaps up above this area of resistance, I have a really good feeling we might see a continuation play. Okay, so all eyes on COST on the 25th for earnings, and we're going to see if this thing wants to give us something to trade out of it. But remember, it only moves 1.4%, so it's a slower mover. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I have a biasy in this. I'll just show you right now. I do have I have a position long in this. I traded this a few times on this gap up. This thing opened up on some news first thing in the morning and gapped up very, very nicely in the pre-market here. You can see, I think it was up over 24%. Let me just double check. Yeah, opened up, whoa, 40? Did it open up in 40%? Somewhere between 20 and 40%. I guess I could just give you the real, I'll give you the real numbers here. There's no point in rushing this, right? So it opened up at 10.74%. And within the first minute, it was up over 16%. Okay, this thing has gapped up now. We're up all the way at 234.32, a gap up of over 50%, guys. 50% gap up on this. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. A lot of people get very fearful about this. Now, these are my trades, not yours, so take this as a grain of salt. But as Jesse Livermore would say, I buy, no, not Jesse Livermore. This is Darvis. Darvis says, I buy dear and sell dearer, meaning he buys high and he sells higher. Usually these things, when it's very big news and it catches Wall Street off guard, they will have a continuation play off of them. Now, my continuation play is going to be a little different than yours, so make sure you're playing your book, your play, and your money, okay? Next up is going to be ON Semiconductor. I do like this thing as NVIDIA trades sideways as the market was kind of heading down. This thing has held this beautiful uptrend here. We're looking at this thing on the 5 minutes, so it looks a little wonky. Let me get rid of some of this information and consolidate it for you on the hourly. And now you guys can see that we're forming like this pennant here, okay? It's a pretty big pennant. Well, the thing is, if we look at it on the daily, it's broken out of this pennant. Okay, so if you can find a nice place to take a long, or maybe this isn't your trade to the long, maybe you like this top right here as a short, okay? Either way, this is on my watch list. This is something that I like to see. And you know I'm a bear with bull horns, baby. If I see a swipe in trade to the downside, I'm going to take it. But if I see a long, a juicy long for the long trading account, then we'll take it. HUBS, this has been on my watch list. I've talked to you guys about this stock multiple times, as well as ON, as well as COST, because we need those on your watch list, guys. So HUBS broke out above this key area of 442 and now is still heading higher. It's still extended though above this 10, 20, and 30-day moving average. So if you're looking for a position to trade it, I would definitely give it a little bit more time. Curling 200-day moving average on HUBS looking absolutely scrumptious. Now, you haven't heard this name in a while, but wake up, people. CELH. CELH is looking really good. Now, on this daily here, if you just drew this uptrend line, you would have found that it's holding it very well. Now, coming out with earnings, it definitely had an earnings expectant beat. They expected 22 cents per earnings share, but now they're up to over 40. So that's absolutely beautiful when you double up on your earnings. Then that's going to throw CELH gapping well higher than where we started out. So this gap up here, guys, gapped up over 13% and totally missed my eye, and gapped all the way up here, and well, now it's actually trading about 23% higher than where it was 3-4 days ago. Okay, so definitely one to keep on your watch list. And then of course there's going to be some honorable mentions that I'm going to give you guys, which is ON. I've been watching this from the very beginning. You guys can see I played an earnings play on this, or I think we tried to play the earnings play on this, but I don't think it worked out. But this is why we play these earnings play, guys, because we'd still be in this thing. It's absolutely beautiful, holding this trend line. Might be a nice area for an entry. depending on how you play these things. So just taking a look at it. I don't really know what the stock's going to do, so these aren't buy or sell recommendations, guys. But last one we're going to take a look at is Lululemon. So Lululemon held this 10-day moving average for quite some time. It was absolutely beautiful. I did love Lulu in this area, but you cannot really slide past the fact that every time we've came into this area, we've sold off. And it looks like that's what Lulu is starting to do here. Now, if it can hold a new higher low and prove me wrong, then let's head back up. But if not, if Lulu is still going to trade in this channel, then we can expect Lulu to come back down to this 315 area. Hope you understood that. Next up is SWAV. SWAV, we've had this on our list. This has a nice uptrend on it. Now back up here at the highs. This could be a nice area for a short, or depending if you're waiting for the breakout or not, you might see this as a cup with handle, but we need a little bit more time to see how this plays out. So if you were looking at a cup and handle, you could look at it something like this. Right here is the breakout area, and now it's coming back to retest. So now that I'm actually looking at that as a cup and handle, I do like that. The earnings have already came out. It looks like they did better than expected as well. So maybe this thing can squat down on this 10 and 20-day moving average and pose a nice trade to the north side. So I'm just going to put an alert here because this is not how I was actually seeing this one earlier. So I'm glad we took a look at it together. So guys, listen, I am pumped. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, if you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I'm here every Friday. I do live trades analysis, I do live trading, and I do stock commentary. So if you can get behind that, I want to be here for you just as much as you're here for me. So hit that subscribe button, guys, and we will see you on Friday. Peace.